Hey guys, I'm Patty and I'm about to start this baking challenge. So I have no idea what's behind these windows. I have a video about this, so if you'd like to find out more about this challenge, just check out that video. Okay, so I have no idea what's behind these windows and I'm going to open the first one today. So here it is and I'm going to start scratching now. What is it? I have no idea. Almost there. Oh, it's a Pop Tart. Oops, I have to be careful. I mean, I've made like hand pies, but not exactly with the glaze on top. So I decided to go for the little strawberry Pop Tarts. So I'm just going to make the jam now. It's just strawberries, sugar, and lime. So let's make the jam or compote, since I'm not adding that much sugar. Usually jam has more sugar than I'm adding. Okay, so these are defrosted strawberries, but you can use fresh or frozen. And then I'm adding the sugar and lime juice. I'm going to add the recipe below. And then I just stir it a little bit and let it thicken on medium heat. From time to time I'm going to stir it and then I'm going to taste it to see if it needs more lime juice or if it needs more sugar, because I didn't add much sugar, as I said earlier. Add a little bit more lime juice and stir it a little bit, let it thicken, and then I usually use the blender so I don't have any bits on the jam. This is how I like it, but this is optional. You don't have to blend it. And then I let it thicken a little bit more. And then I do this test. I take a little bit of it out to see how thick it is, because when it gets cold, it's thicker than it looks now. So I take it to the fridge. So here I'm showing how the jam looks after a few minutes in the fridge, and I see that it's looking good, so I'm going to take the jam off the heat, and then I'll just stir it a little bit, and then I'll transfer it to a container that I'm going to take to the fridge so that the jam is cold when we need to add them to the Pop Tarts. That's it, the jam is done. Now I'm starting the process of the pie dough. So this is butter. The butter doesn't come on the sticks, so that's why it looks weird. So I cut it all in little pieces. I didn't show all the process because I think it's pretty straightforward. Okay, here I'm adding the flour, and then I will add the salt, sugar. I usually sift flour for everything. So this is the salt. And then this is the sugar. Okay, so here I'm adding the butter. And then I'll start with a fork, just so that I don't use my hands right away, because the key here is that the butter doesn't get soft. We need little pieces of butter in our dough so that it gets crispy and crunchy when we bite it, and just a little bit flaky. So we need to add the water little by little. We just need to add the water just enough so that we can make a ball with the dough, so we don't need it very sticky. As I said, add the water just so you can make a ball of dough. Here I'm adding it little by little, and you'll see in the end that I don't add all the water to this dough. It depends on the type of flour, it depends on the butter, so you'll have to see. You could do this process in a processor, in a food processor, but I did it by hand. You can also transfer this to your countertop, but I like doing it like this as it's not as messy. Okay, I think we're almost there. Just a little bit more water. Okay, I think we're there. Just smush a little bit and then I clean out the bowl. Here we have our bowl. We are going to divide this into two because we need to have two pie doughs. So this amount of pie would be enough for one pie that has a bottom and it is covered also on top. So if you're doing pecan pie or pecan pie, you will need just one of these. Or pumpkin pie, for example, you use just one of these because the pumpkin pie doesn't have pie dough on top. Okay, but that's not what we're doing. We're doing the Pop Tarts and we need dough to fold them. So here I'm just making little discs so we can add it to cling film to put it on the fridge. Now we're just making a quick egg wash, just egg and a little bit of water. And now I'm starting the process of rolling out the dough. So I don't have the full process of rolling out all the dough and making all the rectangles because my phone stopped filming for some reason. So now I'm measuring it. I measured it 7.5 centimeters by 10.5. Okay, so I think I'm making 4 rectangles here. And then we are going to move to the fun part, which is to fill the pies and then bake them. Okay, so here I used one rectangle to measure another one, and it was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that, but I wanted to try different things and I saw that the ruler was the best. Okay, so here I'm using water to seal. This is going to be used as glue. I used water on some and then I used egg wash on the other ones. I was just testing to see what worked the best, and they both worked, so you can use water or the egg wash. I just didn't like the look of the egg wash coming out of the sides when I added it, so I tried it with water as well, and it worked. So as you can see, these ones are a bit small, and that's because when I was cutting the dough, after that the dough shrank a little bit, so it's more like a square. This didn't happen on the first ones that I made. As I said, the phone stopped working, so I don't have the first part filmed, but I'm going to show you afterwards. After these ones, the other ones that I'm making, I'm going to fill those as well. So this was a fun project. I like doing it. Okay, so you need to seal the sides pretty well so that the jam doesn't come off the sides. And I had to be careful not to add a lot of jam. As you can see, sometimes it's running off the side when I close it, so we need to be careful with that. Okay, so now I'm sealing it pretty well. And now this goes to the fridge. It needs to go to the fridge for at least half an hour before we bake them, just so that the pies are crunchy. It helps when if the dough is colder. Okay, so here I'm filling the other ones. I tried the method of folding instead of just putting one rectangle on top of the other. I mean, it worked both ways. But I don't think you need to fold it so that it works. So probably next time I would make all the rectangles instead of folding the large one. Okay, so we are doing the other ones. In total, I made 8 Pop Tarts. There was some leftover dough scraps, and I used those just as a snack. I added some sugar and cinnamon and baked them, the little pieces, on the oven, so it wasn't wasted. If you are more precise with the dough, you could probably make another Pop Tart, so it would be 9 instead of 8, but I'm not sure it would be enough for another one since I didn't test it. Okay, so this goes to the fridge, half an hour as I said earlier. And now they have been in the fridge for half an hour. You can leave them for more than half an hour, but I'd say half an hour minimum. And then I'm adding the egg wash to all of them so that they get golden. The originals are pretty pale, but you don't need to make it as similar to the original Pop Tarts. You just need to make it good. So we are almost there. After this, they are going into the oven to be baked. Okay, almost there. Now that they are in the oven, I'm making a quick glaze. Some sugar, some vanilla, some golden syrup, I also add a little bit of milk. As I said earlier, I'm going to add the recipe below. So now I'm just mixing it. And then it was a little bit thick, so I decided to add a little bit more milk. But to be honest, I could have left it as it was because it was pretty runny at this point. I used it like this, but you can leave it thicker if you do it. Okay, so they are ready. They have just come out of the oven and they are ready to be glazed. And then we are adding some sprinkles on top. I left a couple of them without glaze or sprinkles. Hey, so we have finished our first challenge, which was the Pop Tarts. Okay, so some of them are a bit different from the others, and they are still warm. I took them out of the oven like 10 minutes ago, and I was just icing them. I think I should have made a bit of a thicker glaze just so that it wasn't as messy on the sides. But I'm not really a fan of the glaze, so I left some without it, just a couple. We'll try one of them. Which one will I pick? This one is cute, if you can see it. Okay, hope you can see it. This is how it's looking. These are good Pop Tarts. The pie dough is crunchy and it's tasty because of all that butter. So it's very good. Okay, I like it. Let me try one of those, the ones that doesn't have a glaze. See which one I prefer, because I usually don't like glaze on stuff. Yeah. I don't need the glaze on top. But since the filling and also the pie dough doesn't have much sugar, it's not over sugary with the glaze. I just don't like the texture of glaze, especially when it's dry glaze. Yeah, I think this is approved. see what we're doing next. Let's go for this second row, last spot. So I'm going to choose them randomly.